On February 24th, 2016, I was driving home from school when I saw an ambulance pull out of the station. Now, seeing this causes everybody a little bit of worry, but I was relieved when I saw the ambulance go on the freeway. Later that night, I went on to KSL and I saw that the ambulance had been dispatched because a woman had committed suicide on the freeway near my home. Now imagine my surprise when my mom told me that this woman was named Emily Cook Dykes. She'd been struggling with postpartum anxiety and depression, and that Emily was one of my Aunt Janine's best friends. A few days after the funeral for Emily, her husband Eric, my Aunt Janine, and a few others put together what is now known today as the Emily Effect. My goal today is to inform you about the Emily Effect. And to understand the Emily Effect, you need to know three things. You need to know what postpartum mental illnesses are, you need to know who Emily Cook Dykes is, and you need to know the goals the Emily Effect has. Postpartum mental illness is the cause the Emily Effect is trying to advertise and create awareness for. Now, postpartum mental illnesses are mental illnesses women can develop anytime from pregnancy to 12 months post-birth. And women are at risk for developing a postpartum mental illness if there's a history of anxiety or depression, if there's complications during pregnancy or birth, if there's financial stress, if the baby was put in the NICU, if it's a mother of multiples, or if there's fertility issues. Now, postpartum mental illness is kind of like the baby blues that lasts more than a few weeks. There are 4 basic types of postpartum mental illnesses. The first is postpartum anxiety depression. The second is postpartum PTSD. The third is postpartum bipolar. And the fourth is postpartum psychosis. So, postpartum anxiety depression, women who haven't experienced symptoms of racing thoughts and they feel like something bad's going to happen, and they typically have a hard time sleeping. Now, women who have postpartum PTSD usually have experienced a traumatic event during pregnancy, delivery, or post-delivery, and experience symptoms of nightmares and flashbacks to the traumatic event. Women who have postpartum bipolar mood disorder have a hard time keeping feelings of extreme sadness and extreme happiness balanced. And postpartum psychosis is when women have hallucinations, delusions, and extreme paranoia. Now, UNICEF reports that 110 million women worldwide will give birth in a year. Now, postpartumsupport.net reports that 15 to 20% of all women who give birth will develop a postpartum mental illness. This means that 16 million women worldwide will develop a postpartum mental illness over the course of 1 year. And Emily Cook Dykes was one of those 16 million women. Emily was born in 1976 in Sanpete County. She later married her husband Eric in the Manti LDS Temple in October of 1998. After the birth of their 5th child, Trey Hudson, Emily experienced a traumatic event in which left some emotional side effects. Over time, Eric noticed that Emily's sensitivity to small annoyances was heightened and her thinking was somewhat clouded. So the Dykes family decided to seek professional help. But they were not able to find a lot of help, and due to the lack of help they were able to find, Emily had a panic attack as a passenger vehicle on the freeway near my home, and in an effort to get to a safe place, she fled the vehicle and was hit by oncoming traffic. Emily was full of potential, and her cousin Catherine Barry characterized her as a good mom, family-oriented, she was conscious of other people's needs, and a good wife. Due to the lack of help for postpartum mental illnesses, though, Emily died that fateful day near my home. And the tragic ending to a woman so full of potential is what the Emily Effect is trying to end. The Emily Effect has a few goals. The first goal is they want to end these stigmas that are out in our society today, that if you're a mom and you say I need help, you feel like you're a bad person. The other stigma is that if you say you need help, that you'll never get help, that the postpartum mental illness is your fault, and that there's no cure, and that it's not treatable. All of these are false. It is encouraged to seek help. It is temporary, and there is help. There is hope for you. On the Emily Effect's website, they have what's called Letters of Light, where over 40 women have shared their stories on how they overcame a postpartum mental illness. The Emily Effect is also trying to provide training to OBGYNs, psychiatrists, and pediatricians so that when these women come in to their offices, they can recognize if the woman has a postpartum mental illness and where to send these women to find adequate help. The Emily Effect is trying to raise money to build a facility for women who have a postpartum mental illness where they will get adequate help and where they will not be separated from their baby. In conclusion, the Emily Effect is trying to stop and provide awareness for the #1 birth complication. They're trying to prevent beautiful women like Emily from dying. Now, with the amount of women who develop a postpartum mental illness each year, since that number is so high, the chances of someone you know struggling with a mental illness is even higher. So I ask you, what are you going to do when your wife, your cousin, your sister, your aunt, your friend is struggling with a postpartum mental illness? Because this is the question the Emily Effect is trying to answer.